And thank you for joining us today on this PiPsCast. Cold morning, cold Thursday morning here in Central Portugal.
Yeah.
So, just if you're new here, just wanted to explain what a PiPsCast is. We thought a little while back that what we would do is we would do something similar to a podcast. So it's just us having a chat to you guys and with you guys about our experiences here in Portugal, really. So it's just us chatting on. There's no editing, maybe a little bit, but it's really just, there's no overlays or anything like that. It's just me and Elaine having a chat here about stuff. And
because it's hard to capture everything that happens, or conversations you have, or issues, feelings, anything like that on camera. Because then that would just be a documentary, and that's not what we want to do.
No, not really. But I was thinking also, it kind of gives us a bit of a time to catch up with you guys, because, for example, this week we tried to get a fire we registered for a fire on Monday, tried to do a fire, but it was we didn't try because it was too windy when we got down to the land, so there wasn't any point in even trying to start a fire. So therefore, that came into, we weren't able to film it because also it was too windy and there wasn't anything to film. So this is kind of like, we can tell you that now, we can tell you that today, that it was a bit of a washout of a day. It was a lovely day.
But it would have been a really boring video. Oh, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't do this.
So we can come on a Thursday and we can tell you all about that and how things went. So as I said, this is just simple, us chatting on, but we also put out another video on a Saturday, which is the more
in-depth, more interesting things that we've actually...
More interesting, hopefully.
What could be more interesting than us sitting on the sofa having a cup of tea?
So more more edited and more about what we've done in the week, specifically, that type of thing. So so thanks very much for being here. It's really nice to see you guys. And what are we going to chat about today? Just our plans, really, overall. Our plans for the future, isn't it? The near future.
Try and give a bit of insight as to how we've come, because like most people, we change our minds quite often, but it's not that we've done something and then changed our mind. What we're trying to do is to live slowly, because this is a whole new life for us. It's a whole new place, a different culture. So we're trying to live slowly to make sure that the decisions we make are the right ones for us. And
the most cost-effective ones.
Yes, because our budget is very small.
Yeah.
So, for a few different reasons, which we'll try and elaborate on, we have sort of taken our time to decide what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and when we're going to do it.
Yes, so at least it's a plan that shouldn't change, because we have had a lot of chatting about it ourselves. Yes. We've to and froed again with the idea, and we thought, no, this seems, and we made the decision, but then we went back on the decision. It's kind of like trying to make the best thing for us to get through winter months and summer months as well. We've been thinking about that because it's been quite cold here in December, and it's very cold this morning. I think this is probably the coldest morning we've had.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of think about next year, this time next year, but we also have to think about a very hot summer that's on its way as well. So as I said, we're trying to elaborate as we go along, but we put a lot of thought into our plan. So, because we just wanted to talk a little bit about our budget, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, because our budget is really tight. We basically have like a small pension, then we have a small amount of rental coming in from our UK house, and then we have the money that we make on YouTube. And that obviously that's a fluctuating thing, the YouTube money. So as well as just keeping body and soul together for us too, our budget also has to do any renovations to the house, the work that we've done on the land, and all of the normal day-to-day living things like running a car and insuring it and keeping it roadworthy and that kind of thing, doesn't it?
Because that took a bit of a bit of a chunk out of our budget, didn't it? The IPO, the MOT that we did on the car, the inspection.
The little car, yes.
That took a little bit of money out of our budget, and it's just thinking like that. Now we're having to put the truck in for a service, and there is a few things with the truck. Got me thinking about whether we can afford the truck in that respect. You know, could we afford to maintain it? Because it is a truck from 1987. It's an old car, but it's. But the mechanic said keep it. He can fix everything on it. It's not like a modern car, but he said to me, keep the car. And once he said that, I was like, okay, we have to have a rethink, and we will keep it. But then that now involves a maintenance. We're going to have to keep on top of maintenance for it.
There's some things that need to be done immediately, some things that can be done afterwards, and then further down the line, things just like you do with any car, basically.
I suppose so. Yeah. So we're booking that in. That's going in for its service and check, I suppose. It's not an inspection because it's already got all of that legal inspection and such, but it's just for our peace of mind to make sure that the truck's okay and can keep going for a lot longer, is our hope. Yeah.
Yes, because it's going to be a useful workhorse for the plans that we have. And the little car that has just gone through its inspection is more of a short-term thing now. So that's going to be we think sort of in a 3 or 4 months' time we'll probably sell that.
Possibly, yeah.
Just because...
Again, that's another thing we haven't fully talked about. But but that's a great little car because it uses very little petrol. So frugally, backwards and forwards to local Castello Branco, it's a great little car for just nipping us backwards and forwards, and it saves us petrol. So again, there's that trying to understand what how much money we're spending each month, I suppose. But anyway, so that's where we are as far as that. But I suppose everybody has to budget. We all have to kind of...
and all balance. And I suppose we are in a much privileged position that we actually have 2 cars, albeit that they're from the last century. Both of them.
That's right. Yeah, I know. But you're right. We are in a privileged position to be able to make that decision.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, we are. So so we're just kind of talking about budgets, I suppose, the other day, and then we were thinking about where are we going to put our focus and our money, maybe over spare whatever money I don't know what you want to call it, but we're going to try and budget in order that we can build a little house. What are we going to call it? A little day house.
Yeah.
Down on the land. Yeah.
So to backtrack a step.
Yeah.
There's obviously works that need doing in this little house, in this tiny house, which is the majority of this house is built out of schist, so the walls are built out of stone and they're about 50 centimetres wide, apart from the front wall, which is brick, and that's the one that's got the tiles and everything on the front of the house. So there are jobs that need to be done to make this a much more pleasant space to live in.
Pleasant space, that's a good word.
We're surviving here for the winter. But it does have a few damp issues because there's a ruin on either side, and they're not built with a damp proof course as a usual thing out here, out in the
wilds of
the wilds of
Central Portugal.
But it doesn't need a lot of things doing, but the work that needs to be done and that we would like to do, such as knocking the odd wall down, because it's such a small space, if we're going to work on one room, that will impact on the whole tiny house. So it's going to be extremely difficult to work and live in this tiny space when there's lots of dust and rubble and not really anywhere to move things to. It's not like we've got...
I think that's more of the difficulty. I think we can block off a door, for example, with it, but we have talked about that in quite a lot of depth. And So, slight technical issue there.
Yeah.
So we're back.
If we wanted to knock this wall down behind us, it would mean emptying out everything that's in the room behind that we use as storage. So there's a lot of tools and that's just
bobs.
Basically where we keep stuff so that we can move around
The house.
here.
Yeah.
Then we would need to move out the chair and the sofa and the heater and what have you. And there's literally just nowhere to put them. So yes, we could put them out on the street, but one, that's not very pleasant for everybody else in the village. Two, it's right on the road.
Have you actually considered this?
Yeah,
Did you
thought about having a sofa and a chair piled out outside.
Okay.
So it's just
sense.
not
not practical.
We had always hoped that we could build some kind of temporary structure, a day house down on the land. One, so we've got like a loo and a working kitchen down there for when we're there all day, because that's where I want to spend a lot of my time. And you love it down there just as much, really, don't you?
It's really nice down there.
It's our calm space and our
we feel a lot more
everything.
Calmer down on the land than
connected.
we do in. I think you're right. Connected, calmer. I don't know if that's the words, but we do feel a lot more. This is what we came to Portugal for. Well, I do, and I came to Portugal to spend time sitting on the land. Really, exactly.
And I came to grow on the land.
Yeah, to grow on the land,
So we've decided that our immediate budget should then be better spent building that space, so we've got somewhere to store some of the things from here when we're doing work on this house, that we've got a nice space down on the land, and then eventually it'll mean we can do that little house, the day house on the land, and this tiny house, and we'll always have like a refuge to get away from the workspace that we're working on. So that's our plan.
I think we'll also have, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we'll also be more prepared for the cold weather, in that we can then, we're more prepared for the hot weather first, because that's the summer coming along first. So we can be more prepared for the summer. We can do the work down the land, on the land, and because that's what's going to happen in the summer. But then we've always got the house as a refuge, which is going to be cold and shade. So it's trying to kind of work out priorities, I suppose. And I think the priority has brought us, our way of thinking, has brought us to the thoughts of that building this little house structure, shed, I don't know what we're going to call it, day house. I love that idea, really. Build this little day house down on the land gives us what we need immediately, and that's kind of in the next 5 to 6 months, maybe. That idea, and our budget will allow us to achieve that within that 5 to 6 month period. Then after that, that budget can then be moved
to this
tiny house, which then can prepare us for the winter months. And then the winter months will start to come along, and this house here will be a lot warmer, because hopefully we will have a wood burning stove in it, for example. Things like that. So it's kind of like working out that budget on a month by month basis, I suppose, isn't it? And seeing how we're going to use it. So that's the plan. Going to build a little house and then fix this one a little bit later on down the line.
And I think something that happened very recently, which was basically yesterday, we spent nearly all day in 2 separate occasions. So a few villages over that we've met a few times asked us for some help because they were having a problem with a cockerel. So complete change of conversation, I know, but I am bringing it back round to what it means.
To budget.
So the reason we spent the day with this lovely couple was because they were having a problem with a cockerel. So as hens and chickens grow. Some of them become males, some of them become females.
I think they're already male and female when they're born.
Well, they are, yeah. But you know, you grow up, you can't really tell on day one.
You can't. No, if you're going to breed chickens, you are going to end up with cockerels.
Yes.
And too many cockerels in a roost
can be a problem.
Can be quite a problem. We've had the experience.
We've had that, yes.
A few years ago, we used to keep chickens in the UK, and hens and ducks. Hens or chickens, and ducks and guinea fowl. Yeah.
The noisy ones.
Yeah. So we've kept all of these birds before a long time ago, but chickens particularly. Yeah, when you have a few cockerels in the roost.
Yeah. So they were having a particular problem with a cockerel. Asked us for our help because they understand that part of homesteading and managing like a kinta is you may have to make a decision about dispatching the odd bird, and they are growing meat birds as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we said, yeah, no problem, we'll come along. So we spent the day doing that, and then once the bird was dispatched and we did showed them how to butcher it and prepare the meat and everything, they said, oh well, you might as well come back and come for dinner and we'll eat him. But the thing that got me was we have a small gas heater which barely heats our one little room here.
Yeah.
In our tiny house. They have quite a large farmhouse style home comparatively, and they have a small wood burner in their kitchen, and we weren't even sat in the kitchen, we were sat in the next room. And it was lovely and warm.
Yeah.
The ambient temperature was very pleasant.
It was lovely,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So knowing the fact that, okay, it's very chilly this winter, it's been exceptionally wet this winter, nobody's going to deny it hasn't been exceptionally wet, gives me then hope to think, okay, we're coming out of winter now, it's the end of January, we can manage this, and then with the experience of last night, if we get a nice wood burner in here, then next winter and ongoing winters will be so much more pleasant.
Yeah.
And that then impacts on your day, and you know, Darren might want to get out of bed because
I don't at the moment,
it's not pleasant getting out of a nice warm bed when you know for a fact the rooms are chilly.
But I'm worried that people are going to worry about us because we've got such lovely people out there, and they're going to be worried. We're going to be fine. We are just a little bit.
We are actually fine.
We are fine. Yeah. Just a little bit cold at the moment now and again.
But then a lot of people are very cold at the moment.
Absolutely right.
So you know, there's nothing different or special about our situation.
No, that's true.
But having hope for the future, I think, is what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Is exactly what I got yesterday. In a roundabout way when we were dispatching a chicken, a rooster. So weird as it is, but that's strange. How the universe sends you messages sometimes. Lovely, yes, lovely too.
Yeah. So yeah, it does. It sends you messages, doesn't it? And I think that's the thing. But I think you're absolutely right. It's just having that that plan that we can kind of manage being here.
Long term.
Yes, and in order for us to do that, we have to therefore budget, just as everybody does, I suppose. But yeah, it just got us thinking. We spent a lot of time talking about that, you know, not about this, but about budgeting, I suppose, and how we're going to manage this over the next few months. Yeah. So I think the plan is we're going to start quite quickly on this, building this little day house, aren't we? Maybe in the next month, possibly?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need some preparation of the groundwork, which won't cost us anything, so we can get on with that. We need to finish off the flat area, get it properly levelled. We don't want any dips or anything because we've given ourselves time and we've watched the weather and we've watched the land, we have seen that where we would like to build the house, there is a slight dip and water had collected there. So we need to ensure that that is now graded properly so that we don't want standing water underneath this day house. So there are probably a few weeks worth of free jobs that are just muscle.
Well, drawing a plan
budget.
and the size and costing
Yeah.
and seeing what sort of wood we need to start with as well, I think, is where we can start. Because
Yeah.
we can build it little bit by little bit, so month by month. We can build like the bottom frame on us, on that budget for that month, can't we?
Yeah.
Then the next month we kind of say, oh, okay,
We
so
might get a few walls up.
yeah, we could get a wall maybe. We could buy a wall for it. That's exactly right. That's what the way we're thinking about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, and
Yeah.
the budget will then work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it will.
our skills will increase as well as we do these jobs, won't
Yeah. Yes.
they? Yes, they will, love, they will.
So yeah, that's a good heads up, isn't it? I think of kind of our way of thinking about where we are, and yeah. So I think that brought us to the end of this one for today.
I think it has, yes.
Yeah. So brilliant! Thank you very much for being here again. It's just us having a chat,
Yep.
and it's been lovely chatting with you. Leave some comments. We always love to read your comments, and Elaine, I'm normally editing, but Elaine's always replying to your comments. It's really lovely to hear from you. So, I was just going to say that you tell me some of the comments, don't you, as you're going through. Tell me,
Yes.
oh, this person said this. It's just so nice. So,
Just to keep you going.
to keep me going. So, I can't think of anything else for the moment.
No,
But-
I think that was what we wanted to talk about
Yeah.
today, the things that had just impacted on us,
In the last week,
at least.
which is what a PiPsCast is about.
Yeah.
But don't
So-
forget our video on Saturday. That's
Yeah.
ready to go, and we're excited to share that with you. I was really pleased with that video, and so Saturday about 5 o'clock-ish English time, UK
Yeah.
time. So yeah, don't forget our Saturday video, GMT.
So if you don't want to miss it and you're not subscribed,
Oh yeah,
then please subscribe.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything,
No.
won't blow your budget at all.
Nice one.
And then once you've, before you click off this video, give us a like, give us the thumbs up, and
That
do
helps.
the same on Saturday as well,
Yeah.
because it does help our channel. As we say, for our budget to work, we basically need the income that we get from
It's not the income we get from YouTube.
from YouTube.
Right, goodness me. It helps a little bit, definitely.
Blatant advertising.
Of course it does. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's been
Yeah.
lovely chatting with you again, and we will see you on the standard video on Saturday and then next week again. So
Yeah.
we'll see you on.
The next one.
Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye bye then. Bye bye.